What's up, everyone? It's me, Adam Prime, and we are back. This is another TokuBrew podcast. This week in Toku,
Hi, I'm Stormy. I'm here.
we have a few addendums to make. As you know, Geats is over. Definitely by the time you will be hearing this.
Yeah.
We got way behind via the movie-thon and a bunch of other stuff. It's a difficult thing.
Yeah. It's just a busy time of year.
We are going to finish talking about Geats. Geats is going to get its own wrap-up and other part out. And there's even an episode. I'm realizing I'm going to withhold the one other Geats episode that we recorded was a few weeks back now that I'm looking at it. Now I'm thinking about it. Because it was like a while ago. But we have a KingOhger one that's just going to be just KingOhger talk, which should come out before this, which is pretty much leading up to Reculus's death. We are current on these shows, and we are going to be just jumping into where we are now, which is 2 episodes of Gotchard and the 2 time skip episodes, because we have now hit...
Of KingOhger.
The KingOhger time skip. So... that's what we're going to be talking about. But there's a lot of stuff we obviously we'll probably mention and everything else from those episodes that we didn't talk about yet, because we got up to Reculus's death and Gyra becoming king, but we weren't able to talk about pretty much the end of Deathnark and the other. We will get back to that, maybe. If not, we will just mention what we can in passing, because pretty much all you need to know. We'll get into that in KingOhger. You want to do Gotchard first? I feel like we should do Gotchard first.
Yeah, that would probably be smart. So.
He's the new boy in town.
He's the new one.
If you have heard our commentary, you knew our opening thoughts of It's Okay.
Yeah. And we watched the first episode twice.
We shouldn't have watched it twice.
Yeah. Like, guys, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I have...
It didn't help my computer was being a little bit of a fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
So we were kind of staring, and I'm going to throw this up right now. This is what we were staring at for at least 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then sometimes audio would pitch in, so it's almost like you activated my trap cards.
Here, take these. But... I gotta say, like, I have, like, some, like, opinions on this, but... before I get into that, I do want to say, like, I am having fun with this show so far. Like, I have a lot of criticisms, but it's not, like,
it comes with the consequence, and I'm not saying this to be like, oh, this show isn't good because it's not Geats. That's not true.
No.
This is definitely being its own thing. It's going back to basics. Like, Geats, and I feel even Revice were something I would say was geared... a lot for a little bit higher, like an older audience, and you can tell they are skewing much younger with this one.
Which isn't a bad thing.
Like, we're going back to high school, like, which weirdly isn't that big of an aspect. He's just in high school. That's his thing. But it really does feel like it doesn't seem like anything that's going to be going that in depth. He has a mysteriously missing dad, which... Do we just want to talk about them intermixing just both episodes?
I guess so.
Do you have anything to say about... because here's the thing. It's newly discussing us in episode 2, so if you really want to hear us talk about episode 1, like just how we felt about it, go watch the commentary. You can even watch it with us if you really want to. But it's something that I think is really funny, because... going through it, it's like you hit all those beats. He has a friend he's going to be advisoring in. Like, not advisor. Like, he has a friend who you can tell doesn't like them, but you know they're going to grow on them eventually, and they're going to be best friends.
Possible villain?
Like...
oh, I thought you were talking about the long-haired kid that he was already friends with.
No, this guy looks like a fucking chump. He does. He looks like Julio, but not as cool. That's saying something.
No.
Like, this guy's a chump. Like, he gets his mind erased and everything at the end of the episode. But, like...
he's got that 70s hair.
But, yeah, we pretty much just get... like, Gotchard is, like, this optimistic kid who just really wants a I got it moment. That's legitimately what he's looking for. He's looking for a gotcha moment. He keeps saying gotcha because Gotchard. Do you get it? Do you get what we're doing here?
Look, I'm gonna be very honest. Like, this is not like one of the better shows. I feel like maybe it's not fair because it's right next to Geats. Geats felt like every single thing was thought out ahead of time. Like, it felt like everything was very intentional, and this feels very loose. Like,
this feels back to basics.
Like, this made me look up the definition of what alchemy was, because from my understanding, which is like a huge part of the show is alchemy. It feel like, from my understanding, it was always like an exchange of equal parts to make something different, like a pound of lead for a pound of gold, or like with the philosopher's stone of like, oh, like you have to like an incredibly like simplistic view of like, oh, you have to take life to have life kind of thing. It's like there is an equal exchange of things, and this is more of like the, oh, I'm taking something out of nothing, which is
I'm a wizard.
I could very much be wrong. I feel like alchemy, because it's basically fake science, you know, it's not super solid. So it's like, yeah, you can like get away with it, especially if you're having your own canon.
And everyone I know, and I can see I already see people mad about it because it's not doing alchemy like how you think.
It's not Full Metal Alchemist, brother. It's not Full Metal Alchemist. That's what they're mad at.
Like, and I'm not even gonna say that's wrong because it's just like you're just using.
I mean, shit, they did it well. What can I say?
You're just using alchemy just so you're not saying you're using magic.
I feel like maybe they originally wanted it to just be magic and wizardry, but they're like, hey, we already have a wizard with a ring theme. You're now alchemy with cards, and they're like, oh. Okay, so they tried to like fit it around that. But can I want to break this up with like a really big compliment, actually. Because I know that we like the suits, we like the toys, we like the cards, but my god, the main actor for Gotchard is doing so much heavy lifting.
Yeah, we don't know anybody's name right now.
Yeah, the main actor for Gotchard is doing so much heavy lifting and how I am enjoying this. Like, this, I don't know if it's the actor just doing an incredible job or he is just genuinely this happy to be there, but oh my god, his happiness is infectious.
Well, yeah, then he just feels like
infectious?
a Pokemon, like, yeah.
I don't know.
He feels like he's just like a Pokemon trainer, even when you see him early on run into Hopper 1, and he's just like what are you, like you find a dog on the street. Like,
I'm keeping you.
Just like I'm gonna feed you my lunch.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, I feel like especially you see it in episode 2, I feel.
Yeah, when he's given the test, but we'll get to that in a second.
I guess
Let's just get over.
I don't know if like does this
1
really need a play-by-play with how we do it? I almost feel like it doesn't make sense if we do it that way.
I'm not trying to do a play-by-play, but it's like I'm also trying not to intermix too many things in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm just trying to be like, okay, what did they really state in episode 1? But like, yeah, like I said, obviously, like he finds Hopper 1 after he gets like schooled in school because he looked like a fucking idiot, I guess, and
wasn't paying attention. He's like, this is something we're not picking out on because we don't speak Japanese, but they're like, oh, like he like almost talks like a poet or something like that. I wonder if he's unintentionally speaking in haiku or something like that.
Also, his mom has a restaurant.
Yeah, his mom owns a restaurant.
Which
and...
put a pin in that.
Oh, okay. I was gonna talk about what we were laughing about, but okay.
But like, I'm gonna just call her Ankh Girl. Because she fits that trope type that...
It sounds like you're talking about the mom. I think you need to be a little more specific, dude.
Like, his school is, like, a fucking fellow student. I don't know her name.
The main...
Alchemist girl.
The other alchemist girl. My god, Adam.
Either way, like, she's very much, I feel like, in that Ankh archetype of, I don't like you, but we're gonna be best friends by the end.
Kind of thing, yeah.
But I don't think she'll become a writer. I won't be shocked if she does anymore. Like, I feel like I hope they don't send out belts like they're fucking candy, because...
It seemed like it was an important thing.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, when he gets kidnapped by Steamliner eventually. But yeah, no, so he just looks like a jackass, and she's just like, I'm gonna just use this floor junk to go through a magic door after school. And, yeah, that's that, and then... Literally, everything goes to hell after
we have our
he
villains.
Finds Hopper. Oh yeah, wait, do we want to talk about the 3 Egyptian god cards, or?
I mean, I guess so. Like, By the way, they only have, I mentioned it in the commentary where they had like a Vocaloid-esque voice, like the middle young girl, and then
The,
just
the girl we've been saying constantly as we're watching it that she's 8.
yeah, she's yeah. She, I mean,
Sorry if she's 12.
I don't know. I don't know how old she is. But anyway, yeah, there's very much an Egyptian theme kind of going on, and then that voice thing I talked about never returned because it sounded like, oh, they use like a Vocaloid program, and I was like, that's kind of neat, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah, which we don't know much about them outside of they're the evil alchemists. That's their thing.
I mean, maybe
This is 2 episodes in.
I mean, and from what we've seen of the monsters so far, both of them have had like their arms crossed across the chest.
Yeah.
Which is very like mummy-esque. So maybe that has to do with the fact of, again, that Egypt thing, but I guess maybe we'll see later.
And yeah, we pretty much.
By the way, I'm very sorry if we're not making that much sense. We're a little tired today.
Yeah. Do we even mention that a mystery man just had the driver and then just went to a magical realm and was like, "Hey!"
Definitely not Ankh Girl's dad.
Yeah, we thought it was Gotchard's dad at first, and we're talking about episode 2 later. It's Ankh Girl's dad.
It's hers.
It's her dad.
He's a traitor.
Do it for my dad.
He's a traitor.
Yeah, he's a traitor, but we don't know that yet.
He's probably
he's holding a Nintendo 64. He's just like, I want to play it loud, and nobody can stop me. And he just gets pretty much attacked, and then sends Hopper 1 and Steamliner to go find the one, I guess, find the prophesied boy,
which is of course Gotchard.
Yeah, which is obviously main character McGee. And does like Hopper just like summon?
You know, it's funny because like
Steamliner.
While we talk about these things, like we have the screenshots that we use in front of us to like kind of keep track of like what we're talking about.
Hopper
I
1's
feel
adorable.
like, oh yeah, obviously, but I feel like the show is really weird because I feel like we saw so many things happen and we grabbed shots of things that would be important, like like the snake eating itself. Or like it's really this will be a
world,
this will be a conversation or this will be a thing, but it's just like, what do we have to say about it?
Outside of like,
I feel like
jokes.
it's just kind of like, well, that was cool.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Or like with the leaves and stuff like that. It's like, yeah this was cool stuff, but like there wasn't really much substance as to what was like going on. I feel like the alchemy wasn't really super thought out, you know.
The alchemy's just magic. It's just magic. And like I remember even,
which is fine, I'll
even
treat it as such.
Even Gotchard was just like, oh, so it's magic, and like Ankh Girl was like, no, it has science and stuff, because alchemy. God. It's totally not bullshit that we're making up.
Definitely.
And yeah, he gets eaten by the train. The train has a mouth, and that's kind of creepy. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know, man. Fucking, it's just like, really, do you care that much? It's like,
no. Either way, people get attacked by JPEGs.
Man, they like really ran out of budget at one point because like not even all of them are like models.
CGI.
They're just kind of the card art.
Yeah. Long story short, dude is like, you're the chosen one. I'm giving you the belt, and then obviously he has to die.
Mm-hmm.
And all the chemis get broken out, and they legitimately tell you how many of these things we're gonna get.
101.
And there's more to see. To be a chemi master, that's the thing to be.
By the way, like I also saw that, like he calls Hopper 1.
Yeah.
But he's the only one that has a number in his name. And I don't know why. Like, he doesn't say, oh, it's Hopper 1 and Steamline 9. Like, he does, like, at least that would make sense.
Yeah, but Hopper 1 is so far the only one that I'm aware that has just the number in its name. Like, straight up. But it's not spelt. It's still the number. So it's weird. Also, there's just this great shot of this dude who just flipped over the fence because he was afraid of the JPEGs. Like, if this person was actually falling, he's dead.
Yeah, I thought that guy was gonna fall straight on his head for a second. I got so scared.
Yeah. So, pretty much...
He, like uses his hands to push off the sign.
Evil Egyptian ladies were like, we want the belt. And Gotchard's like...
Don't let them. They'll end the world or whatever.
Yeah.
The transformation thing is cool. By the way, I really like his transformation, like, pose. Like, with, like, what he does with his hands and stuff. I imagine there's plenty of Illuminati jokes. And, like, him, like, going into a beaker and stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah.
He
becomes this stupid grasshopper thing.
Very shiny. But yeah, like, he's very, like, light on his feet, so you see him, like, jumping and stuff. And there's, like, kind of this thing where, like, oh, the chemis, which are, like, the little characters, essentially, can't be, like, touched by malice or something like that, like human
Yeah, there's Kemi laws, by the
despair.
way.
There's like laws or something like that.
Don't break them. And she just gets, like, the main villainess, like, eats them and gets monster suited. And again, the suits look good in the monster suit.
Oh yeah, the monster suits look really nice. I really like that first one.
But yeah, we get Doofy Grasshopper until he decides I need to do my proper Kamen Rider transformation.
And it turns out the teacher that was talking with them before is also a part of it.
Who's also an alchemist. He's also a wizard, Harry.
Mm-hmm. He's also a wizard, Harry. He's a hairy wizard.
And pretty much that's where it ends, being like, hey, anyone who learns about chemis are going to have their mind wiped. Fuck off. And you're going to come into episode 2. And episode 2 is pretty much just being like, is Gotchard going to make it into the alchemy school? Let's find out.
Yeah, and again, like, they try to bring in the whole thing with balance and everything. Why don't you scroll?
Because we're...
Oh. Is that all we have? Oops.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
I thought we'd be good with remembering episode 2.
Alright, cool.
But yeah, no.
Sorry,
you were yelling at me for something that
like,
I
why are
couldn't
you
do.
scrolling? But yeah, like, it's just kind of like introducing more about how this world works, I guess.
Like being
it was,
like,
it was more entertaining.
Yeah, the teacher being like, I'm not just a high school teacher. I'm also an alchemist teacher. Pretty much most of my day revolves about being a teacher. And I have a ring, but I have a red ring. You guys get blue rings.
Which I
you're
imagine.
Apprentices.
Well, to be fair, they never confirmed that is the thing.
No.
That's just kind of our theory of like, oh, if you're like a student, it's blue. If you've like mastered the craft, then it's red.
This is where we find out
That's our
Girl's dad is a traitor. He stole the chemi cards and the belt, and we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He just took them. He was just like, fuck it, these are mine. But
we get to see more of like his personality and stuff with this, which is fun. And I had a weird old person moment because like I was like, wow, he's just like so Gen Z, you know? And
he feels like a younger person.
He really
than
does.
us.
Yeah, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, like I guess it is kind of time to pass on the torch, huh? Like I was just like, huh. I guess I better get used to seeing that.
Yeah, it's like it feels something more for the modern day, or it's like, and it makes sense because this is a kids show for kids today.
Yeah, which is funny enough, not a lot of people agree with that, despite the fact it's true.
And it's just kind
at the end of the day,
it's just kind of there just to set up all of the stuff, just being like, hey, now you got this. And we're gonna get 2 more new chemi cards and the motorcycle.
So yeah, no, what they mentioned was like, oh, because the cards actually are physically heavy. The higher the number, weight. Like the heavier it is.
No, it had nothing to do with the number. It was just the card itself.
Which is interesting, yeah. But how am I supposed to know? But they like show it's just like, oh, one of like the most basic things is like being able to like transfer the weight and make them be able to be equal, which
Gotchard does not do technically. He cheats.
Yeah, he passes on a technicality because he asks the cards to lose weight and gain weight, which somehow fucking worked.
Yeah, exactly. So the Commantis is just like.
And it's also him just being like, so anyway, what's alchemy? And they're like, you're kidding.
They're just like, then why are you so on board with this, you fucking freak?
To be fair, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, if you got magical superpowers, would you not be like, I'm in?
I'd just be like, call me Edward Elric, because I'm in. Like,
and yeah, that's pretty much, we get to learn that, like, the chemis aren't, like, malicious. Like, at least all the ones that we're running into. Like, it was just the skateboard wanted to show everyone how to shred gnarly kickflips, bro. It's like, it had the spirit of Tony Hawk, just being like, whoa.
Oh my gosh, the skateboard monster was adorable because it was like a skateboard that was like broken in half, and that was its mouth, and it looked like it looked like a giant puppet, and I loved it.
It did, and pretty much he uses Mantis, and that's a CGI form because we're not going to get an actual suit because there's a lot of cards, but we're not going to get a suit for every single card combo. I don't know.
Is there even really that much more to talk about? I mean, the music's fine. The music's good.
Yeah, we have his rival character show up just being like, I don't know what I have to say in this episode, but I'm wearing, like, black clothes with purple on it, but my ring's green. That's my thing.
And I think we saw a little bit of his suit in the preview, and it looks pretty cool from what I could see. But I'll be waiting until I see it. You know.
Yeah, these are setup episodes. These are setup episodes. Like I said, Gotchard's going back to basics. I don't
know. I just feel so almost disappointed because the toys felt so thought out, like so well thought out, and it feels like the show isn't as thought out as the toys, like mechanics and how. I don't know, man. Like I'm trying to not be super negative. I promise. I know it sounds like I am, but I mean, I was very hopeful with this. I was like, oh, like this seems fun, you know, at the very least. But I'm like, and I'm still having fun with it, especially again, like because the main character is just really likable at the moment.
But like so far, I can't give it above an okay.
Yeah, so far it is okay, but like obviously we got to give it more of a chance.
Yeah.
Like it's its second episode.
Yeah, it's like it hasn't done anything to grip on yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we got KingOhger.
All right, so real shit. Let's talk.
So yeah, I'm about to say we saved this for last because I thought we would be. I think this was just the more enjoyable and the more in-depth talk. We obviously, like we said, Gira became king.
And we have a 2-year time skip.
We have a 2-year time skip after the death of Deathnark.
Oh, Jeremy is now recognized as the king of In Between, and they're recognized as a country.
Yeah, the Bugnark are no longer at war, and
they've had 2 years of peace apparently, which is very nice.
Yeah, which we open up with Jeremy and the Bugnark getting their ass kicked.
Yep.
They're literally just on the ground, and you just see piles, and then you got
Actual
our new
piles
generals. We got our whole new generals for the next year, so it's been 2 years. And Gira's looking good.
Yeah, oh my gosh, what a glow up.
Like, he's just wearing Reculus's outfit, so he's just wearing the royal outfit.
But it looks better with a smile. And, like, the cape looks like it's actually, like, fitted to him, so it doesn't look too big on him now.
He saw a tailor in the 2 years.
Yeah. He grew into it. But, yeah, so he
and Duga.
Yeah, Duga.
His dude.
So... they basically were kind of starting this off where the whole show started off, where they're basically having, like, a peace meeting, you know?
Which, okay, there's only a few things I want to bring up about stuff we haven't gotten to talk about. And before we get really deep into it, we were constantly debating if Reculus is dead or not.
Yeah.
I believe where we are now, with these 2 episodes, he's dead. Like, it's like... And I know one of the arguments we had was we saw him and they said his remains were in the coffin. But the debate was he didn't get his flowers. They thought that with Gira.
Oh, the actor getting flowers, by the way. Because that's what they do when they wrap up filming.
Yeah, usually when they wrap up filming. But it's like, I could see them using Reculus in flashbacks.
I mean, it's just it's a combination of things where, like, there's just enough doubt for me to, like, not... Again, the actor didn't get his flowers... And
Kame Jim's still in
we
play.
Didn't see the body. They just kind of said it was there, and it was said by one of the characters that lies the most.
Well, no, it was Duga who said it after he.
Well, I mean, like, think about who else was there.
Yeah. So, well, yeah. You don't trust Suzume.
Yeah. Fucking, like, it's just, I feel like there's, like, enough doubt. Like, I mostly agree with you. I'm not gonna joke. Like, I do mostly agree with you. He's probably dead. And he hasn't gotten his flowers or anything because maybe there will be flashbacks or...
Like, I don't think they're done
some
filming
sort of
with him, though.
Some sort of ghost thing. Like, there's probably gonna be him in filming at some point. But there's just enough doubt for me to not fully commit to that.
But yeah, by the way, when we ended the last 2 years, everyone was doing good. Like we said, Jeremy was accepted as a kingdom, which, by the way, you know, it's something I was not expecting to resonate with me as long as it has been. Like, I can't not think about it. All the stuff they did with Deathnark.
Yeah, that was really
Deathnark's
good.
ending.
That was wonderful.
Like, went from me being like, yeah, he's just generic villain guy, to being like, oh my lord. This man, it's like, does he have to die? And then he just gets annihilated in the worst way.
Like, oh, he really died.
Like, he got like something very fucking weird and fucked up.
But
yeah, so everything's fine. But as we cut to the kingdoms this time, we have Fat Sebastian.
He literally has his freaking pants.
His pants can't be buttoned. He's fit. And we have Kuroda taking over for the fields.
Kaguragi.
Marfonia is going insane in the Ice Kingdom.
with Mufon.
Yeah, with Mufon in the chair with the swords.
And it's like, hey, and so no one showed up again, and he's just like, of course. And he's just like, oh, whatever. And they like immediately start apologizing to him for something. We still don't really know
Yeah,
what.
well, no, we know it. We get their crimes.
Yeah, we get like their, well, yeah. I mean,
By the end of the episode,
spoiler
we know
alert.
the crimes.
I guess spoiler alert. They're in jail.
Yeah, they're in jail.
But and like I don't know. Like seems like they're apologizing for something personal.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like I don't know like what exactly they're doing with that. But yeah, it's very much mimicking episode 1 in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but I mean the difference, they're immediately like on their face apologizing. He's trying to lift them up and be like, don't apologize.
And then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, and they think basically another Fury of the Gods is happening, but like
these black shoe gods
even
swarms are going.
KingOhger is like terrified.
KingOhger's just like
He's
just like I don't want to be out here, man. Dude, he's coming.
They're like,
coming.
What's coming?
Guy was just like, oh fuck, and then you just see them all light up and combine together into one silhouette, and we get the Galactic King, or the Galactic
King of the
Insect.
Galactic Sex.
And he is
I don't know how to say his name.
Doug Durajan.
Doug Dimmadome. Got it.
Yeah, he pretty much, Gira says his name wrong, and then he decides to drop planets on it.
Yeah, it kind of destroys his kingdom quite a bit. He's like, yeah, you say it wrong again, and the rest of your planet is next.
Yeah, like, they immediately show, like, he has omnipotent power. He immediately
But we also see he might just be a little dude in a suit.
Well, yeah, it's like there's several shots where you can see, like, there's almost like a little man inside his head.
But anyway, yeah, so he shows Gira. He's just like, here, let me show you the purpose. You have none.
Yeah, and by the way, Kamejim's there. Mm-hmm. He's just like, you fucked up. You were supposed to kill the Bugnark. And then he just throws Jeremy's corpse onto the ground. Mm-hmm. And he's like...
Yeah, and he takes him to, like, different planets that he's destroyed.
It's, like, super fucked up until he goes into his room, which is just this vast universe.
40... Like, I like to call it the fourth dimension playroom in my head.
Well, yeah, it's like... We'll get to it later, because there's kind of some stuff to say that's kind of funny about his playroom.
But anyway, like, the whole purpose of what he was saying is just like, oh, this is my room, and I have to tidy up, essentially.
I have to organize my planets.
And I got tired of just wiping everything out, so I like to have fun with it. I pit other living things against each other, so they do the work for me. And it shows that, like, oh, these were the guys... Because one of the things that, like, in KingOhger that no one had figured out yet was who was the first to strike between humans and Bugnark, and it was them.
Yeah, you find out it's just pretty much they were getting prodded, yeah, and just led to fight by pretty much either Kamejim or hit the king himself. But he even tells you that the other previous Shugadam kings
would assist him.
Would make sure that war and everything was still happening.
And, like, the population didn't get too high or something like that.
Well, yeah, and he pretty much just said, hey, you kill all the Bugnark, and,
maybe I'll let you live.
Yeah, about to say. And we'll let you live on, your humanity can...
Which really kind of puts some of the stuff from Reculus into perspective, and even, like, maybe, both he and Reculus's, like, dad, who was king before, we haven't seen anything for this. This is complete speculation, but it's like, oh, I wonder if, like, it's going to be, like, almost like a tragedy of just, like, him, like, mirroring Gira of, I had to be the villain, because if I wasn't the villain and do these terrible things, everybody dies.
Yeah, it's just like...
At least this way, not everybody dies. And I can't just put on a I'm a good guy position, because no one's ever going to believe that, so I might as well just be a villain. Like, I wonder if it would be something along those lines. But anyway, he puts down all of his different generals, and they go to the different kingdoms. His jesters.
We got the grossest one in Ichiban.
Oh my god, the fucking leech one.
The tentacle lip leech thing.
They have, like, lipstick on, and they're making kissy faces, and I hate it.
They're the enticing, though.
I hate it.
Yeah. We also have Ninja Man.
Daft Punk Ninja.
And we have tick flea
Which
man?
which I imagine tick flea. I thought it was like a fungus.
Oh, I was gonna say
Or
he
like a
looks like a
bacteria.
termite.
I
Or
thought he
something.
looked like a fungus.
Like, I honestly, he looks like a tree with a termite in the head. Like, that's how it looks to me.
All right, well,
We'll see.
I don't know. There's probably a solid answer somewhere.
Then obviously we have Kame Jim, who's the flamboyant.
Mm-hmm.
He is flamboyant, all right.
And of course, what is Gira's response to this? It's haha, no, fuck you.
How about no?
How about no? And
Eat
they
it.
go to each of the kings, and like I don't know if we have any screenshots of this, but they give them each of their swords again.
No, I have a screenshot of them breaking out, but yeah, pretty much. Wait, no, the Jeremy's Bugnark is just like we need fucking help, and just goes up to the jail cell, and just throws them the swords, and are just like, we need to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Mm-hmm. And they're just like, well, our crimes don't really match the good that we can do not in jail, so let's fucking go. And they go in and they beat the hell out of those guys. We get to see some updated looks. By the way, so impressive the way that they've been able to have like a time skip, and like they do look older, but like just the right amount of older.
Yama's blonde. Himino, I really can't tell that much of a difference outside of the dress style.
I don't know. We'll probably notice more little things.
Rita has short hair now. Kaburagi has old man hair now.
He aged so many years.
His hair is grayed.
His hair is like almost gray.
And it is insane because obviously all of the kingdoms start getting attacked after Gira makes his speech to the Galactic King just saying, fuck you. And everyone gets saved last minute. Fat Sebastian's just like, oh, fuck. She's probably going to be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, can we talk about Sebastian's crown?
Yeah.
I love the fact that he has a little king's crown that he has. And
we get to see what their crimes were.
yeah, and pretty much they just have their fight, and then we see what their crimes are. And they are hilarious. Yanma was guilty of monopolizing on global power output to develop his ultra computer
throughout heaven and earth. This alone is the honored rig.
And that's his crime. Himino was pretty much launched a 1,000 megaton firework and burned other countries, and they were like, you're going to jail for this property damage. Kaburagi's was one of those that I was like, oh my god, because he just made a weapon. He weaponized like a drill system.
Like an anteater.
Yeah, it was called the Anteater, and that's why he's in jail. And Rita is my favorite, though, of the bunch. Of serving prison time for means of utilizing mandatory vacation time.
They just didn't want to take a vacation.
They needed to do something, so going to jail is their vacation, apparently. And that is their crimes. That is why they are in jail. And you know what you gotta do when you're doing a time skip and you had all of them in prison at the start?
And you're having all of this, like, just drenched in plot?
You know what you do for your first full episode after your reveal of the time skip? You better believe it's a body swap episode.
Anyway, so, yeah, everyone has switched bodies.
Like, that's literally how it opens up, is like, the Galactic King is just like, alright, who wants to do it? By the way, like, they're wearing, like, saran wrap on their feet and shit.
Yeah, it's funny how we were able to immediately tell how they did this effect, but I never thought about doing it. You know, it's like, they're obviously basically in front of either green or blue screens, but they took the props that they wanted to stick out and wrapped it in saran wrap, so it's clear, but it has like a weird look to it. I'm like, that's really clever. I think it looks really good, actually.
It's really funny. Like, Kame Jim is just, like, wrapped away into a corner because he has to sit this out.
The ninja one is actually getting a chance to do this. This was his doing.
This was his plan. He did the body swap, and my favorite part is they did my favorite thing for any time somebody does a body swap. They did not switch the voices.
Yeah.
The actors have to act and try to inflect like the other actors.
Like, they have to do impressions of the other characters, essentially, and I love it.
And not gonna lie,
they did great.
All of them kind of nailed
it.
it.
They fucking nailed it.
And
it's exactly what I wanted.
You immediately know it's Himino in Kaburagi's body.
Just by, like, the mannerisms.
And it was fucking hilarious.
So, Himino and Kaburagi switched. Gira and Jeremy switched. Rita and Yama switched.
So,
which all makes kind of sense, because if you think about it, those guys are basically opposites in some way. The only ones, it's so funny, they even open up with Jeremy and Gira just being like, I'm not worried about this, it's them I'm worried about. Because they're gonna try and fuck over the other countries for their own country's benefit.
Yeah, they admit that
and hilarity ensues
after the first fight, because obviously they all unite into one room to talk about them having their bodies swapped, and immediately the ninja shows himself as just like, I did it, and they're like, alright, let's fight. And I love that you see all of them still do their transformation poses.
And, like, do the different fighting styles.
But Jeremy just shoves the crown on his face.
I mean, think about what he's used to doing. So.
Yeah, I know. I just thought it was so funny.
It was. And,
chaos ensues.
But they all agree, just like, well, this is gonna be really weird, so let's just try and not cause panic and just pretend to be the people that we are.
Yeah, but I want to talk about one thing in the fight that amused me. That Gira was in Jeremy's body, so he was in the Spider Kumo suit, and he was trying to do an attack, and Jeremy just stops him and is like, come on, you gotta use this thing. And
he's so short.
And Gira just has no brain cells, and he's like, I don't wanna. That's stupid. But yeah, that's where we get them putting their countries first. And immediately, Himino is just like, you know what I gotta do? I'm gonna send all the food to Ichiban.
And of course, this just means Sebastian takes flight. With how fat he is. Yeah. And if you think I'm kidding, look at the screen.
Oh god, yeah.
I was being quite
literal.
literal.
That Sebastian has just gotten fatter. That's the joke here. And I like how, in response to this, Kaburagi sends all the therapists,
massage therapists.
Yeah, massage therapists over to Tofu to strengthen up the muscles.
Which is actually really sweet if you think about it.
To the workers that are getting the fields. But that leads to them overexerting themselves.
Because they were just too powerful.
Yeah, they did.
Rita and Yama are basically just sending people back and forth. Just being like, there's a lot of criminals in here.
You know what's funny?
They're just like, LOL, you guys get the hell out of here.
You know what's funny is...
And they're both losing their mind.
Out of the 3 storylines, theirs really doesn't change or do anything about them. It's just them constantly arguing back and forth until they start shooting each other at the end.
I feel like it still gives them an understanding of each other, because it's like, you know what? We both kind of function off of rage.
But yeah, let's finish the Kaburagi plot, because I want to talk about the Jeremy Gira thing last. I really do.
Okay.
But pretty much because of them all getting, like, having heat syncope, heat stroke, heat exhaustion, all of those heat-related illnesses, Himino decides that she's going to use the herbs to heal up all the people, and just kind of lies to Kuroda, saying she learned it that Kaburagi had learned it from her, and they're pretty much being like, oh, this will be useful. Like, you know what I mean? This will be useful for our country. And then Kaburagi shows all the Ichiban people to forage for themselves in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they will lose weight. And Sebastian looks dumbfounded. He does not want to work. Look at those pants. Those are not the pants of a working man.
Do you want to get to Jeremy and Gira?
Before that, I want to finish the other thing with the Rita thing that I found hilarious.
Yeah.
That the people from Nunka and Sopa got tired eventually. They're like, how many times must I walk?
Back and forth.
For all eternity. Until one gives in. And Gira and Jeremy's is really short, but I think used really effectively to show us where we are in this time frame. And
slight tangent. I also think it's really cute that, like, you can tell that these guys hang out a lot just because, like, nobody questions the fact that they're just next to each other the whole time.
Yeah, like, they're not even like
Well, you guys seem to be hanging out a lot. No, they're just like, oh, hey, it's you again. What's up?
Hey, it's King Jeremy. And
no one questions it.
yeah, and it's like, I think this is something that's kind of really nice to show where we're at in the world in these 2 years.
Yeah.
Because immediately the people are running up to Gira just being like,
what do we do? Are you going to be able to beat him? You know?
Yeah, like, what are these monsters? Why did they attack? And Jeremy, obviously, since he's in Gyra's body, almost does what all the other kings would do and put his ideas and idealistics first by saying, hey, don't worry, it's nothing to do with Bugnark. Bugnark didn't do anything, man.
And they're just like, LOL, that's cute. We know Jeremy's Bugnark would never do that.
Yeah,
and he's like, what?
Yeah, they were just like, we just want to make sure everything's, like, gonna be okay, right?
We're just worried.
We're not gonna get, like, nuclear holocaust
or
something.
And they're just like, and, like, just them knowing that, like, they've been accepted as, like a part of the planet, a part of the people, knowing they don't have this overwhelming stigma against them anymore.
Yeah, these Bugnark.
It literally moves him to tears.
Yeah.
And it is so heartwarming.
Well, it's like, and since he's in Gira's body, they question, they're like, why are you saying thank you? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and then Gira's just sitting there smiling like, oh boy, needed this.
Yeah, it's like, he really did need that. And then obviously we do the ending of the episode where
everyone's working together.
They all figured out what they can do right, unless you're Rita and Yanma, and then you just kind of shoot each other until shoot the guy you're aiming for.
You know what? It's fun though.
Yeah, it was fun. Again, I think they have an understanding. But, like, it was really cool to see them all work together. But then we get the one plot twist of, suddenly, as they're about to do a blow on the Ninja Man, he summons they're, like, retrainers, pretty much. And he's about to stab them. And then they stab them themselves.
My God!
And that's the plot twist. So I like that the body swap episode ended on, like, a bum, bum, bum!
Yeah. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was.
God, KingOhger's great.
But KingOhger, I feel like this episode doesn't have a whole lot, but the scenes themselves are very resonant. Like I said, the Bugnark scene of the people just saying, no, the Bugnark aren't what we're worried about. Like, they're not going to do anything anymore. You know what I mean? We understand that. Acknowledging that those 2 years that they have now just being like, yeah, whatever. My friend Jim's a Bugnark over there, and it's like, you know what I mean? If it was like one of the grubs or something, wearing a hat. Like, if only that we didn't see all their corpses in the first episode.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah, it's like, are they dead? What's gonna happen with them? Mm-hmm. Is Jeremy and his little friend the only two left? I hope not. And this was a fun, like, this is the first ever time skip in Sentai. Like, of this kind of nature. Which sounds kind of crazy. It's not like a week has passed. Like, no, this is like, 2 years are gone. We got, obviously, a new intro and everything.
Jeremy's officially a part of
Jeremy
the crew.
Got his own little...
Reculus is not there.
Yeah, Reculus is gone, which is why we think they're just
We have a couple of cool transitions in there with the golden armor. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
That was rad. Like, it went from, like, regular KingOhger to, like, King KingOhger. It was amazing. And both were a good time. Like, even though it was a body swap episode, it did my favorite rendition. It wasn't just like we're going to put the voice actors' voices over the right bodies.
Yeah, the fact that it's like they changed their appearance, they changed their mannerisms, they changed their voices. And it's just like, they really just kind of nailed it.
I'm wondering how KingOhger is going to play into this.
Yeah. I honestly wonder. I don't want this to be the case a little bit, but I wonder if it's going to be a thing of like the world does kind of just end up destroyed and they have to basically refugee onto their world, onto Earth.
I hope it's more of they were like, we need help, and then somehow in their favor they get a champion from Earth. And so Daigo just shows up, Gabutira in tow, just being like, the boys are back in town!
So what you're saying is they pull a Sonic and the Black Knight?
Oh my god. Oh, does he have to deep throat like a bowl of curry or something?
He just
like a whole, like he's just gonna like eat a chili dog and just be
I was hearing something about kings over here.
But so yeah, by the way, if that's our little subtle thing about saying, yeah, KingOhger's gonna be joining in. We have seen a suit picture of slightly of Kyoryu Red in his new KingOhger get up.
And I have watched a good chunk of it at this point. I've passed.
You're 11 episodes in.
Yeah, I'm like about 11 episodes in. I'm loving it, having good times.
Yeah. You just got to Uchi, the best man.
My God, I love that character
I
so
love
much.
him. He's my favorite.
Episode 10.
I hope he shows up.
Episode 10, I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool.
He's
like
a badass.
Episode 12, I love him. He must be protected at all costs. If you know, you know.
Yeah, but say we might have to do a TokuBrew or something when we're done talking about KingOhger.
Just because.
Just because we watched it, why not? But yeah. Oh wait, there's one other aspect I'm realizing I wanted to talk about. That I thought was funny between all of the back and forths, because Kaburagi and Himino did have a little bit of a back and forth between each other, but it was like them stealing each other's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that Himino just breaks at one point, just being like, "God damn it! Stop!
This sucks!
God, can I have a minute? I just need a minute." God.
But they end up helping each other in the end.
Exactly. It's like, I like how they grew to be an understanding. Like, Jeremy got weird closure for something he didn't expect. And then Rita and Yama are just like, we're both stubborn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they do, like, the dude bro, like...
Yeah, they do
you son of a bitch.
Yeah, they do the Predator, like, you son of a bitch.
And I don't know if you guys could have guessed this, but they do switch back by the end of the episode.
Well, yeah, because they break his spell.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I'm curious on what next episode brings. But obviously, we know what wins this week. Like,
yeah.
we're not hating on Gotchard.
I promise I'm not.
It's like, I'm not trying to. I'm having a good time. I like Gotchard himself. He's very jovial. And like I said, I'm being very open-minded knowing that it's going for something completely unlike Geats. And I feel like that's something people need to come to accept with these shows. Like, this one definitely feels like a show that's being geared down a little bit for a more wider audience and everything. So, I don't know. It's like KingOhger's still slamming it, though. Like, KingOhger has just been a lot of fun and very original.
So good.
And it's like, I already love these characters, so it's like, I'm ready to see more, where it's like, it's so funny to think this show has almost had like 3 or 4 endings, but that's just because it's like the arc in these stories.
I almost wonder if the reason that KingOhger has kind of felt that way is because the writer had the story that they wanted to tell, but then it's like, oh, suddenly you also had to accommodate this whole other Sentai, essentially. I know it's not every single character coming back, but... And yeah, it's like I wonder if they're just like, okay, I need to get to the point that I know I want my story to be told before I start to get to that. So I'm just going to cut all of the fluff and just put the story that I want, and then I'll deal with it later.
But yeah, I'm curious, because we're not getting
I have no clue if that's true or not. That's literally just me guessing.
But like I said, the KingOhger stuff is not coming in until, like, early October, late October.
So we still got some time.
So we still have time, but I'm really curious... on, like, again, at what kind of level is that playing? And I'm really hoping it's not going to be something that I'm like, does KingOhger need it? And I hope it doesn't make me feel or wonder, well, what could we have gotten if this didn't show up? I'm hoping that's not what it is. But I do love KingOhger.
I hope it's just adding some spice to an already good dish.
Yeah, it's like, they're bringing in other characters I like. I do, honestly...
I feel like Gira and King would get along. I
want to see Daigo and Gira and Jeremy. I want to see them all interacting, because King can be a lot, and he can be very blunt.
But we love him.
But yeah,
we love him for it.
I think he's gonna very much piss Yama off. That's my bet right now.
I know,
Yama's gonna get pissed off by him, and Rita may have an aneurysm next to him.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
An admirable scream from Yama, by the way, in an attempt to recreate.
So many. Just, like, going for it, though.
I wonder if, like, the actors were laughing.
I want to know, do you think the actors picked who they switched bodies with? Or do you think they decided that right away? Like, I want to know how they decided that.
I don't know. I feel like, again, they kind of went with, like, who's, like, the opposite of who.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, well, then we have Jeremy and Gira, so that works.
Yeah, it's like, I have a scene idea for it, so this works better, whatever.
Or I wonder if it's just like they ask the actors, it's like, who are you the most comfortable doing an impression of?
Yeah. But yeah, no. But
As in,
any
like,
final thoughts?
which are the most confident, I should say.
Yeah. Any final thoughts?
KingOhger's good.
King
I like
Ohger is
KingOhger.
good. Watch King Consume KingOhger.
Buy their
more
toys.
bugs.
Buy more bugs.
I have in no way pre-ordered all the bugs. I've in no way done that. What are you talking about? It's not a money sink. I'm not slowly gonna just have a pile of plastic bugs of doom.
Hey, they're friends, though.
I love them all.
I'm a little sad the little tarantula dude never came back, though.
We don't know where Tarantula Abyss is. Don't bring him up. He makes me sad. He's like a lost puppy
He
now.
was
and I don't
mourning
know-
his friend! Oh my gosh, he got Hayachi'd.
You think he's still waiting for Bugnyark somewhere?
I will wait for you.
Ugh.
I probably
Don't make me cry.
I made some people very sad just now. I'm sorry. I think we should probably wrap up. What have you got to say?
Gotchard's a thing. Gotchard is...
Again,
it's a fun time. It's okay.
The toys are good. I will say,
I like
even
the
if you
toys.
don't like the
I
show,
like
the
the
toys
card.
are very fun.
Or at least the belt is.
We are 2 episodes in though, so I'm still open-minded.
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
moment.
Like
I'm having fun
I feel
so
like
far.
that's the big difference is like we're 2 episodes in, so I have nothing to say yet. And at least
We'll see how that goes.
And I feel like that's also because there's nothing really to latch onto yet. There's no greater mystery outside of the very basic mysteries.
That you can already kind of see the answers of.
Yeah.
I
Oh wait,
wonder
we
if
never
it'll-
talked about Gotchard's mom and dad. Oh my god.
No, we mentioned it.
Yeah,
I wonder.
no,
if,
we
I
didn't
wonder if
mention
the dad.
about-
How funny would it be actually?
If they have the same dad.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say if he had like 2 families.
Oh my
That's
god.
his sister.
Oh my.
How funny would that be?
That would be kind of funny. But yeah, no. By the way, she just says his dad left. We didn't mention that. We
Oh
think
my
his
god,
mom's
yeah.
in denial.
I remember I made a joke with you where it's just like, oh, where it's like he's been gone for like years, like what is it, like 10 years or something like
I don't
that.
know.
He left when he was like
A boy.
like really really young. And it's just like, oh, he went to travel the world. It's like, well, why are you still here? It's just like because, and why aren't you upset about that? And she's just like, well, how can I be upset? He's pursuing his dream and stuff like that. I had a moment where I was just like, can you imagine if like someone overheard her talking like this and they just like took her hands and they were just like, honey, I think he just left you.
I think he just left you. I think he just ditched you and your
you
son.
might be in denial, but it's probably actually where they're going with it. That joke was probably just that.
I know, but it's just so weird that they're just
How
like,
funny would it be,
dad,
though?
your dad just left for milk and cigarettes just like 15 years ago, and we don't know where he is. I forgot.
He'll be back someday. I know it.
Either way,
It's only been 10 years.
out of 10. Love Fat Sebastian.
Oh yeah, that was really funny.
So
Oh, they
funny.
played into it so much. Like it's like make him fat. All right, now unbutton his pants. All right, now make him slouching and constantly eating it with a crooked crown. All right, now inflate him and make him float above the ground.
Like, it's such a shitpost thing to do.
I love it. It's
like,
great.
I like that since he became king technically for a time, that like he just became like the lazy fat. Like he's kind of like Boss Nass from fucking Star
Kaguragi
Wars.
was probably on the verge of kicking his ass if you think about it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on if they all went to jail at the same time or different times, yeah, like probably somebody was scheming after
Fuck, he
one
was
of them
doing
got taken out.
what? And he like cracks his knuckles.
But yeah, no. So yeah, he is no longer speedy. He's no longer fat.
Himeno's probably gonna whip him into shape real quick.
Yeah, do you think he's gonna be back to skinny next episode?
I don't know. We'll see.
But yeah,
Dad bod Sebastian.
is it dad bod or more like decrepit bod? I don't know.
We'll see. Anyway, thank you
Yeah.
guys so much for listening. This was a little bit of a long one.
Yeah. Until then, bye bye.
Bye bye.